Hello YouTube and welcome back to The Zone on this beautiful, cloudy, slightly overcast Sunday morning, where today, guys, we have got another Chris Chan article to cover. And I don't know really, I think this is meant to be like similar to the Adam Stackhouse saga, in which a completely innocent guy just completely got caught up in the drama of all things. But I think we're about to find a little bit more out today. This is Clyde Cash. Yeah, and here's a choice quote from Barbara. "Your butt's gonna be in trouble." That just sounded a little bit rapey. And here is Chris threatening to Clyde Cash. I'm not gonna say that. "Ain't gonna strangle that Clyde Cash." I swear to God, my accents are getting worse by the day. Chris threatening Clyde Cash. I'd hardly call that a threat. You know, when you have to emphasize like five words in the exact same, that's not a threat. That's a very low type of threat. Okay, Clyde Cash, alias Greg Mays. That's Greg with 3 G's. 4th of July 1976, is the legendary ringleader of the Miscreants and is often considered to be Chris's arch nemesis. Isn't the Miscreants meant to be like the sequel to Stand By Me or something? Out of all of Chris's trolls, Clyde Cash remains quite possibly the most popular and notorious. He arguably holds the high score in America's favourite game of Kick the Autistic. In Chris's revised Encyclopedia Dramatica page, Clyde is referred to as a Starscream troll. Let me just turn my phone. Again, why the hell do people call me at like 8:20 on a Sunday morning? Who would often switch sides or plot to overthrow Megatron behind the scenes. Chris says this is because he believes Clyde allegedly killed Blue Spike. No, he didn't. Don't know where the hell Chris got that sort of information from. Anyway, ironically, despite Chris's constant demonizing of him, Clyde has warned him about several things that would later return to bite him in the ass, such as his unwillingness to work, we know about that, spending habits, we've covered that, delusional thoughts, some of those things we've covered, and poor treatment of women, and how, and even predicted Chris's innate desire to dress like a woman. Whether or not... Again, that one was, I think the last one was mostly out of Chris's free will, but whatever. By the time, if we get into, the Tom Girl saga or whatever it's called, we'll be able to find out, because that's something that needs to be talked about. Origins. Pro tip. Clyde Cash is not real, and he certainly didn't rape Panda Halo. I didn't realize there was any doubt about that. He was a fake identity taken by a single person who also played Vivian G. The quickie treats him as if he were real because he was to Chris. It's also funnier that way. If you didn't know that without having to be told, you're about as dumb as Chris. Oh, what the hell is this? This looks like something out of Spitting Image. Let's just see this. "I'm damn straight." You can see Chris with the size of his glasses and his just look at that expression there, and him behind the camera. "Ooh, my axles," and a pickle in Vaseline, and that's not bad art, guys. I'm actually not gonna lie, but yeah, and also it's should point out that he does take up so much room with his face in these videos. Anyway, for the longest time, Clyde had no problems with Chris, although he disapproved of some of the content. He was pleased to see the joy the franchise had brought his brother Ryan. Every night before bed, Clyde would read Ryan the latest Sonichu adventure until Ryan dozed off to sleep, usually within the first 3 pages. Ryan is not real either, guys, just to put that out there. This changed when Chris announced in his usual knee-jerk fashion that he was going to stop drawing Sonichu comics. Clyde tried comforting the upset Ryan to no avail. One night in mid-December 2008, Clyde entered Ryan's bedroom, intending to share a tray of freshly baked gingerbread men, only to find the lifeless form of his brother swinging from a light fixture. The dark silhouette of his body threw ghostly shadows across the room. On the desk, Clyde found a note. Apparently, the pain of not knowing whether Crystal would be released from the dark mirror hole was too much for the young Ryan to bear. Clyde screamed, but no sounds would come out. Collapsing to the floor, he swore undying revenge on Christian Weston Chandler. And the torment begins. Clyde's first act was to rape Chris's sweetheart Panda Halo, but it did absolutely nothing to Chris as he simply moved on to the next gal pal. Rinse, wash, repeat, no matter who it is. That's usually what Chris does with anyone he comes across, to be honest. Chris believes that Clyde married Pando and had a 1-cent daughter named Penny. I can see the joke there. Pretty sure Chris didn't. Then Clyde posed as Greg Mays, a web designer working for Nintendo, to gain access to SonicShoe.net, holding the site for ransom. He told Chris to make a video proclaiming he was gay. He then told him to make a video declaring his straightness. Eventually, Chris regained access to the site. Striking again, Clyde worked with a troll and got rid of the domain. Chris, being resilient, bought SolidShoe.info. With the help of Panda Halo, Clyde managed to gain access again. That didn't take long at all, that did it? It was around this time that Takashi Tezuka and Jay-Z were doing their Animal Crossing game project. Clyde then decided to make things more interesting and posed as Shigeru Miyamoto to destroy any chance of the project. Teaming up with a fake Reggie Fils-Ami, they created the Miyamoto Saga. Julie set up a mumble chat in which Chris would communicate true and honest SonicShoe fans. Clyde stalked Julie while infiltrating these chats to confront Chris. He began throwing demands to Chris such as cleaning his room. Chris at the same time also bought SonicShoe and RoastShoe.com. Hang on a second. Throwing demands like cleaning his room, like telling him, things he should have already have done anyway. Clyde got access yet again, this time with the help of Julie. In the end, it was revealed that Julie was a 13-year-old boy and that Clyde had staged the whole thing. After that, he sent out his trusted Hebrew friend to scout out Chris's whereabouts. The MIPS turned Robert Simmons V into a troll and infiltrated Wesley Memorial United Methodist Church. He then stole Chris's one and only date, Emily. When Ivy came along, he decided to continually harass her, and despite Chris making a few threats, Ivy eventually gave in and rumors circulated about her killing herself. Oh, and Clyde also hacked into the PSN network a few times, but then Jack Farias did him one better. And to think, all this was done due to Chris not caring about one fan's tragic suicide. I mean, again, that was just... yeah. On the 22nd of May 2009, the death of Clyde Cash by a shotgun wound to the head was reported by the miscreants. The incident was deemed suicide, although some suspected foul play. I'm not entirely sure if I can remember exactly if Chris had any sort of look about this, but I bet his response would have been about as logical as anything else in the comics. Speaking of the comics, in the comic, Clyde is a villain working for Mary Lee Walsh. Apart from capturing Ivy and getting into a fight with Chris, he initially only appeared on CWC music video Holding Out for a Hero, officially SonicShoe Special number 1. Not much is known about Clyde other than he lives in a mansion and owns a pickle gun and slander ray. It's only because it's painted green. He made his appearance in the comic proper in SonicShoe number 10, as the 4-cent garbage.com building is collapsing. When Jason Kendrick Howell escapes, he condemns Clyde and Jack Farias for being homo trolls. Right. When Beale escapes, he too condemns the two for their actions, saying that being homo trolls that are slandering and tarnishing an innocent man's good name. It's just as evil as being an assistant for Adolf Hitler. With no option left, Clyde and Jack jump into the 66 plus 6-story elevator shaft to their deaths. Well, how about that? After Clyde faked his death for reasons unknown, he came back with a vengeance. Chris wasn't very pleased. In late 2009, when not battling Liquid for the hand of Casey, Chris spent his time trying to convince Clyde Cash, alias Greg Mays, or Greg Mays alias Clyde Cash, depending on which name he remembers first, to face him in a battle on one-on-one battle. Chris has recorded several feats of strength through a combination of Casey trying to get him in shape, a desire frightening Clyde with his bulging muscles. Chris had also a picture to blackmail Clyde, but ultimately nothing came of it than a series of videos where Chris tries to torture Clyde. Tries, yes, but to no avail. Clyde scoffed at the final video. However, because of the negative reaction to Sonichu Special Number 4, Chris in the Wikipedia mailbag made clear that he would only sit and talk cooperatively with Clyde to get him to stop harassing him. Eventually, Chris decided to revisit his old nemesis in 2010, believing he was the reason why he lost the heart of the wallflower. Again, no, he didn't. In it, he is shown fighting Clyde, then putting a knife and slitting Clyde's throat, and as a warning to all trolls. Yeah, Chris brutally murdering somebody is apparently a message. You know, Chris is not Tony Soprano. Tony Soprano would have gone so much further than that. Also, he was almost completely untouchable. In another well-thought counter-trolling plan, Chris unsuccessfully attempted to scam Clyde by paying Chris $9,001 for destroying his PS3. This almost fail-proof scheme was, however, foiled thanks to Shershaft Tito's vigilance. In 2014, Chris drew art of him and Clyde making peace as part of a commission. Notably, Chris completely screws up Clyde's height, making him look far shorter than he really is. And you can see the image right here. Peace, okay, I'm willing to tolerate. Peace, okay, I'm willing to tolerate. Yeah, exactly. This barely looks like an apology. And why the hell does Clyde look like freaking Grumpy from Snow White? Clyde's bizarre attempt to impersonate Clyde by slapping a whole bunch of clay onto his face. There's also something about here. I don't exactly know what movie this is meant to be from. Cash, or if it's meant to be... I thought that looked quite funny. Fan videos? I think we can't... Chris Chan killed Clyde Cash. Never seen before. Not entirely sure if, like, this is technically...
You want me to calm down? You want me to calm down? And this is how angry I am for every waking moment. It makes me angry. I am going to shove your ass down your throat and make you eat your underwear. Too many crooks. Too many crooks. Besides, you are so despicable, Clyde. I am going to beat the lights out. Oh, did you hear me? You are dead!
The only thing I do kind of like want to say of note here is that, was it true that, like, who worked on the music, by the way, for Doom? I feel like that was Megadeth, or it could have been something a little bit more obscure. But that, I do know that Megadeth apparently wrote the, I don't know whether they wrote the riff or they did a cover of the theme for Duke Nukem, but that's just let's see. Original music. Now I do know that it was released back in '93, so let's see. It was based on Mouth for War of all things. Now, I think Mouth for War was meant to be like Pantera, I think. Let's just... Yes, it was. It was 100% a Pantera song. Well, if we've got to learn anything from this, is that the guys who created Doom obviously had great taste in music by choosing Pantera. Which is kind of strange, actually, because... Well, they did always say that Dimebag actually was the only guy in the business who could one-up Dave Mustaine, but... Interesting, anyway.
You are dead! I have the power! Feel
Impossible, see the invisible. Row, fight the power, touch the punch.
Okay, I think we've just about seen enough. Particle Chris, that's about it. And, I think that's just about everything we needed to cover through. And this pretty much like goes over almost everything revolving around Clyde Saga, but I don't really know if like this is all that necessary. I think like we've covered like the major ones already, and I think we should just like call it a day on that one. So that, guys, was the Clyde Cash saga. Now, I think it like speaks volumes that this entire saga came about because, again, Chris did something that, you know, because he announced he was going to stop the comics. I find it ironic because even nowadays he has not outright declared that he has stopped doing the comics, but he is not doing anything towards the comics. So I'm surprised that like nobody else has tried to like replicate what Clyde did, like try to get people involved. Well, though, the only way you could like possibly do this is like, I don't know, maybe make up some false shit about, you know, being a patron for Chris for many years, and they got absolutely nothing in return for this. Because take a look at this, guys. Just over a month it's been since Chris last begged for money. 226 days. We're almost a whole year after. We're technically like 5.5 months away from Chris going a whole year without updating his Patreon or anything like that, or meeting any obligations. And it's been over 10 years since Chris last applied for a job. And what's this one? Today in Chris Street in 2009, Quickville was compromised again. Mostly, I think, behind some of... Ironically, I don't think this one actually involved Chris's nemesis, Clyde Cash. So, that's something at the very least. Okay, guys, I hope all of you have enjoyed this reading of Clyde Cash, courtesy of the Wikipedia. Please make sure to leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section down below. Isn't me always... I don't know whether or not these sagas are like a little bit more underwhelming than I thought of, but I don't know, it just, when you begin to look at them in this sort of light, it's almost very, very clear that just, these seem like, I know in hindsight these things are very easy to look past, and although maybe where like Chris got fooled the first time with Blanca Wise or stuff like that, but then again, the things involving Megan Schroeder, he should have like been on top of his game and, you know, try to enforce some kind of, you know, restrictions or maintain any sort of like amount of common sense even there. But what can you do? That's Chris. He is one of the very few men on this earth who simply will never ever learn. And I hope to see all of you guys again in the next video. Take care. Bye bye for now.